sparrow. I told you, make moves, nigga, stack the dinero. Make the world go round, you better get some. I don't know about you, me, I'm a prince. I'm using digital circuitry to circulate this currency. Move it with urgency, cause it's strangers trying to murder me. Prefer I be in my grave while they out searching. Celebrating with my coins, niggas out here searching. Nah, I'ma wash them with some Tide detergent. You are fucking with the wrong person. For the coins, some people come up with all kind of schemes. Silly niggas for the paper doing anything. Stacking my coins.
Stacking my coins. What's going on, people? Welcome to episode number 17 Off the Chain. I've got a special guest co-host tonight. Trek is out in the woods trekking somewhere, so he won't be joining us tonight, but we do have someone special and qualified, definitely qualified, interesting individual. We're going to get into that in a second, but first, I want you guys to jump over to CryptoBlood.io, get over there and get you one of those Make Crypto Great Again hats. Look under apparel, under men, maybe get your family, kids. I got other apparel on there as well, but check us out for the holidays. Crypto hats, Make Crypto Great Again. We got some tees on here, hoodies. So check us out, CryptoBlood.io, and then under apparel you can shop. And got some discounts on all that stuff right now for the holiday. So we'll get started here in about 2 minutes, people.
Stacking my coin, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Stacking my coin, stacking my coin. Stacking my coin, stacking my coin.
What's up, Trek? Oh, man.
Since I was born, been stacking my coin. These niggas pop.
Do a roll call really quickly. We got Rand, Joy, PFC Wells, OD Chronicles.
I'm getting this money, it never get born. I'm loading my strap, they calling on.
In the chat rooms right now. If you ever want to make sure you have a question answered tonight, just super chat me. It's gonna pop up. I got it on the other screen, so now I can definitely see what's going on here. So Anthony M, what's good, man?
Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Stacking my coin, stacking my coin. Stacking my coin, stacking my coin. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash.
So tonight, guys, we're going to be talking about Cardology, cryptocurrency. That's one of the specialties that our guest tonight has, and this is going to be an interesting topic because I believe in that whole Cardology and astrology and all of that stuff, but I'm not convinced we can use it on finance. So we're gonna talk to this guest tonight, this co-host, about that. We'll also be talking about Georgia appointing Bakkt CEO to the Senate. She's gonna be leaving Bakkt, I think at the end of this year. What does that really mean? I want to read between the lines on that, to be honest with you, because if Bakkt is a promising career where, you're going to see a lot of upside, why would you jump out of that position and go to the Senate? I don't know. We'll talk about that. Also, China's digital currency concerns. Man, we have new stats out about this new digital renminbi. Man, you guys want to be shocked at some of these stats. And also deep state surveillance and AI. Man, I got to keep pressing this AI issue, people, because it's getting to critical mass, getting to a point where, in my opinion, maybe the biggest threat to society, to us who work every day. It's definitely something that I want to continuously highlight on this channel. You guys are kind of up to speed on what's going on. It's a dangerous situation. So we bring down the music. And I want to get our guests in here tonight. Yeah, you guys can call in. We'll probably start taking phone calls here in about 10 minutes, 15 minutes or so. But you can at least get in queue if you would like to. The number is on the screen, 669-900-6833. And there's the code 169-861-119. So what's good, people? I'm on my Chicago Bulls tonight. The sister city from the D. Let me see if I can get my chat room up here. See if we can get that going. But I hope you guys are doing well tonight. I like to have this chat room up here so you guys can. There we go. Boom. Now we're live. All right. So yeah, tonight we've got a special co-host guest. It's crazy because I'm gonna have this off the chain thing be like a rotating guest list. I'm just gonna have different people coming in, joining me to discuss crypto and non-crypto topics every week. And I have so much fun with this episode, these series, I should say. So I'm very excited to have. Let me get my chat up here so I can see any super chats. Again, if you guys have questions that you surely want to get answered, super chat that question. I'll try to answer questions that aren't super chat as well. So tonight's co-host, we've got Tavania Evans. I'll let her introduce herself. Data scientist. She's finishing up her data scientist degree and stuff. We got to get into that. That ties into the whole AI surveillance. I definitely want to hear, your take on all of that. Tavania, let the audience know who you are and what you're all about.
Well, my name is Tavania Evans, and I'm the founder of Hotline. So I've been in the crypto space for a little bit. I am an engineer. I'm a developer. I have a marketing background. I've been in technology for over 20 years. And I'm also otherwise known as AKA Aquarius Maximus, which we'll pull up here. I've been doing astrology and more importantly, Cardology for pretty much the last 10 years.
Okay.
And really and truthfully, without Cardology, I wouldn't be here right now. People think it's the knowledge that I have in the technology, when it's really the esoteric sciences that have gotten me to where I am right now and have led me on this path within cryptocurrency.
Wow, yeah, we got a lot to talk about. That's the whole Cardology thing really piqued my interest. So I met Tavania, was it last week?
Yeah.
We were on a panel together that's going to be published, I think, December 13th, but we pre-recorded it. What was that panel for? What event? Do you remember?
Well, I think he was tying it into the culture, pop culture, hip hop culture, kind of tying in cryptocurrency and blockchain to, everyday stuff. It was real relaxed and kicked back, but very informative. We were discussing blockchain as if we were at one of our homies' house or something like that, Yeah,
it was a really good conversation. Absolutely. I enjoyed myself. We actually stayed on after the recording.
An extra hour.
An extra hour and a half, I think, to be honest with you.
Yeah. It was some real black folk stuff.
It was some real blackish.
Blackish.
It was blackish. For sure. Okay, cool. So let me just make sure this is set up. So if anyone does call in, they won't be allow participants to unmute. Let me just get this set up here. All right. All right. Yeah. So So I want to talk. I don't know what you want to start off with. I sent you a list of the topics. me personally, I kind of want to start with the whole cardology thing. That's so like crazy. You did like a mini reading on me and Trek last week after the recording,
Yeah.
which was eerily correct. It was very correct and spot on for me. And I think you kind of took Trek by surprise as well. So so tell us about Cardology. You do a lot of readings for celebrities and stuff too.
Yeah,
right?
I do.
You have like a pretty big following on Instagram, I think, correct?
I do. I have quite a few celebrity clientele as well. I wanted to start out by saying, I noticed somebody said I'm not really into that, but I wanted to start out what we always start out with, astrologers, and that is the quote from J.P. Morgan, and that is, millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires do.
Wow.
So that's from
Wait a minute. When did this I didn't see this quote.
This is a very famous quote, and astrologers, we always use it because we pull that one out. If you Google J.P. Morgan and astrology, that quote will come up.
Wow.
Right. So,
okay.
So, this is a little bit of an in terms of how these sciences are used, by people in the industry, in the financial industry, in the government, etc. And now that we're kind of coming in a little bit hardcore, we need to start using it too, because this is something that we've always used. You know what I mean? So it's picking up speed. Astrology is definitely a science that is taking hold again within the community, within Black folks. They're starting to get into astrology, tarot, all of this stuff. And which is awesome. Like, I see it growing every day, and it's really, really awesome. But what cardology is cardology kind of takes, it's a little bit of numerology and a little bit of astrology and combines it into what we call as cardology. Cardology has been around for a very long time. It is based on the 52 cards in the card deck. Now, if you look at the number 52 in the card deck, you'll see that mirrors the calendar, which is 52 weeks in a year. You have 13 court cards, which mirrors what was originally known as the lunar calendar. So that was 13 lunar months. So, and you have 4 suits, which mirror the 4 seasons of the year. So what the playing cards are and what they were originally is a calendar. So what we do is we follow that calendar to kind of denote the energy of each day and the energy of people. And we can take that calendar and those energies and we can build forecasts off of them. Very, very accurate forecasts. Most people that follow me and follow Aquarius Maximus know that my predictions are very accurate.
So who, what celebrity, if any, can you disclose who you've worked with in the past? Or you can't?
Let's see. No, I'm not gonna.
No.
I'm not gonna go by the water, but quite a few.
So why do they come to you? Like they're already like
celebrities.
Successful
celebrities are people too, and they gotta, they gotta constantly keep on the grind and keep relevant. You know what I mean? They could wake up tomorrow and not be relevant and lose what they've worked very hard to get.
Fame is a drug, huh?
Right. And, they have a lot of obstacles that they face. When you get to that level, you got a new set of problems that you got to face.
So Air Coins Lee says Illuminati confirmed. Air Coins Lee, that's my guy, man. He's always dropping stuff in the chat rooms and on YouTube. So let's talk about that. Is Illuminati real? Is that force a prominent and real force in the entertainment?
There are forces in the entertainment industry. There are forces in the entertainment. I wouldn't say one force. For a long time, there was a particular entity that had dominion over the entertainment industry, but that particular entity is now dying. There's a shift that's going on. So it's not as simple as people think it is. You know what I mean? It's not like black and white. Anything that you know that's been revealed to you is already old news. It's already probably dead. There is, when it comes to the entertainment industry and when it comes to just regular, and I say regular folks, don't, no offense, but regular folks, there is a veil that you pass through between both states of being. You know what I mean? So when you cross over to that other state of being, which is being wealthy or being famous or being entertainment, you're literally crossing over like the burning sands into another world.
Oh, so us peons that ain't got no celebrity notoriety and ain't got no money in our pockets. We just
the thing is, we're
not living our best life.
A lot of people are afraid because it's very, when you get to the bridge where you're getting ready to cross over, it's dangerous. You know what I mean? So that's why people say, oh, there's sacrifices and people die and stuff like that.
Is that true?
Because it was true, but we're going through a shift, and that's no longer a requirement to get to the other side.
Okay, kind of go into that. What do you mean we're going through a shift?
Well, we are what do you call ascending? We are enlightened now, and now we know other ways. It's like you discovered another way in. You know what I mean? So we've learned ways of coping with things. For a long time, yes, that was the way, but it wasn't because of the people who were crossing over to the other side. It's because the people who were in their environment, they made agreements to help them to the other side in this way.
So you mentioned a specific group that used to be in control. Who is this group?
I don't like to point them out like that. If you follow me, you'll hear me drop some dimes about them here and there. But I don't like to, because people will automatically assume that you're singling out a group of people. And it's not necessarily a race per se, but because technically they're not a race.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
But however, they are in the deck of cards. And in our current deck of cards, you can see them in the King of Diamonds. The King of Diamonds is one of the cards that has ruled the entertainment industry for a long time. And the King of Diamonds is full of different types of karmas: greed, lust, sex, all types of vices exist within the King of Diamonds. And the King of Diamonds is definitely an energy that has ruled the entertainment industry for a very long time.
All right, so we got my man John Hill. He's a regular. He's asking, or he said that signs are BS. So John Hill,
I tell him, drop your birthday.
I was just about to say that. John Hill, and she did this with us, man. Drop your birthday.
Drop your birthday, John Hill.
And what about his year?
Yeah.
Yeah, drop your year.
Drop your birthday. And don't
he said she's a demon.
Well, this comes from our ancestors. So, I'm tightly aligned. Most people, some people throw up the religious stuff, and then I tell them, well, you know what? I'm also an African priestess. You know what I mean?
So here's my thing about that. And people many times do that. Like, if we don't understand something, what we do is we delegate it to evil spirits, demons. That's what we immediately do. Either that or we say it's God. So it's one or the other is what humans typically do.
I just tell them, if they're coming from a Christian perspective, I tell them that your favorite pastor is my client.
What? Whoa, wait a minute. That's all
I do. I tell them your favorite pastor is my client. Okay.
Wait a minute.
Hey, call me what you wanna, but your favorite pastors are my clients.
Huh? Wait a minute.
Yeah.
That's another conversation. But let's see. We got John Hill. Okay, so he put his June 27th,
Ooh.
1985.
We got a club in the house. Let's see. Let's get his card. Let's pull it up. 6/27, 1985.
Yeah.
He is a 3 of clubs. That is the card we call the author, the creator. He's a writer. He's very
He writes a lot. Definitely writes a lot of.
Also suffers from anxiety and worry. That is a card of anxiety and worry. And many times 3 of clubs people at one point in their life, they become smokers, like they smoke cigarettes or, Black and Miles or whatever. Yeah.
Like John Hill, man, I didn't know you was a Black and Mild smoker, man.
This year, he is displacing the King of Clubs, which is today's Jupiter card. So you're actually here to learn something today, and you're learning something. So, that's really good. You have you got a 5 of Hearts in Saturn and a 5 of Diamonds. So you're going to be making a move this year. You're going to be making a shift if you haven't. And it's probably against your will. You probably don't want to move and you need to. You need to make changes in your relationship. You're indecisive about your relationships. You have a 3 of Hearts and Pluto this year. You also have an 8 of Diamonds in Mercury, which gives you very strong financial power this year. However, it's in Mercury, so you probably are spending useless money, don't even know where your money's going.
Dang, John, man, you spending your money, man. You better.
You don't put your money in.
Broke, dog.
Yeah, you don't put your money. You thinking about buying a new car, maybe. All this, I see new car, real like you want a nice little luxury car. That's what you think of when you make an investment. You think, yeah, when this money come back, I'm gonna buy me a new car.
Oh no, John, I didn't think you were that, man.
But your gift this year is that you're gonna overcome fears, long-time fears that have prevented you from having the success that you want. You're gonna overcome this year. And this is actually supposed to be a good year for you. This is supposed to be the year where you're able to live your best life. You know what I mean? But you gotta you gotta overcome the fears and you gotta let yourself just have fun. Don't take everything so hard and serious. You know what I mean? Go out, have fun, socialize, go to social events, because there's actually a social event or some type of event that you're supposed to go to that's gonna be real good for you, financially and just socially. You're gonna meet people.
So he's saying all this is wrong, LOL. I can't tell. So John Hill is he's been a subscriber of mine for a long time, and he's a real funny trolling type.
I forgot to tell you that the 3 of Clubs, they can be skeptics. They're some of the biggest skeptics, as a matter of fact. And part of their lesson in life is to learn to have faith. You know what I mean? So they'll try to rationalize things out, to be non-spiritual or non-whatever, just factual or whatever the case may be. But their life is going to lead them down a path where they have to have more faith.
All right, let's do one more here. Anthony M is 3/3/83.
3/3/19.
She got a computer, a quantum computer over there, y'all.
Yeah,
just punching
it. So Anthony 3/3/83 is a 7 of Spades, and that is the card of faith. 7 of Spades, a lot of times throughout their life, they go through things like, people around them. They may go through illnesses. They may have accidents, but these things are meant to test their faith. They really have their faith tested. However, they came here in this lifetime to accumulate wealth, you know what I mean? But they gotta let it happen. They can't paper chase. They can't, constantly paper chase. The money will come to them. And as a matter of fact, he has a King of Diamonds in Jupiter this year. So there's some type of business that he's involved with that is supposed to be very good for him. but he also has a seven of hearts, and that means he has to step up. And maybe he's in business with one of his friends, or maybe he's dealing with some of his friends. But whoever it is he's in business with, he needs to step up and be the boss.
Okay. Well, we'll have to see what his reaction is, Anthony M, on that. Wow, this is interesting. I just wanted to kind of, I didn't really plan on doing those, but kind of just
I do those a lot. A lot of times I come on and I just do readings. When people come on, they're asking me, various things. And even the ones that are skeptic wind up calling me later on. Because they're not going to admit it.
Gotcha.
But
let's do one more. My man MB Walter X. I know he's another subscriber of mine that's pretty active. So let's do his. His is May 20th, 1978. Let's see what he's got to say.
19.
That's the last one. Then we're going to get into more of this cardology and Bitcoin. That's what we really want to talk about.
Oh, yeah. So he's a 5/20/78. He's a queen of clubs. Queen of clubs are very popular. You'll find a lot of them. As a matter of fact, in the hip hop industry, Rakim is a queen of clubs. Magic Johnson is a queen of clubs. Erykah Badu is a queen of clubs. You'll find them also with money. But queen of clubs tend to live very comfortable lives. Their biggest pain point is relationships. You know what I mean? So, but when it comes to money, queen of clubs can make money. They can attract money. They oftentimes go through big transformations, like they change their name, they change their career path. They make a lot of changes. And this year, he is displacing the 7 of clubs. So there's an opportunity for notoriety for him. And it's sitting next to the 2 of diamonds, so there's also partnerships. So there may be some partnerships that are out there, people that are trying to hook up with him to do certain things, and he might be doubtful that these things will actually make him money. But his faith is being tested as well. He has to take a leap of faith. He has to step out there and try it, and you never know where it's going to bring you. Also, he has a Queen of Hearts and Pluto, so I don't know if he has been considering marriage or whatever, but a large part of his year is centered around this relationship. Maybe somebody who came from the past, a reunion or something, or maybe a past life relationship. But marriage is coming up pretty big as well. And also maybe a desire for children or fatherhood, etc., because he has a King of Hearts in Neptune.
Okay, MB Walter, let me know what you think about that. So, if you guys want to, we'll do 2 more possibly at the end of the video. People are like going crazy over this. If you wanna do one, just super chat me so it'll pin in my super chat and I'll remember to do yours.
So let me explain what cardology is.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Cardology is a map for the law of attraction. So when I pull up your cards, like I pull up your yearly cards, it tells me all the energy that you have available to you this year and how you should play in. Like it's like a blueprint. You know what I mean? So I can tell you what I see happening, but you could also take these cards and create a blueprint for what you want to accomplish. You understand? So even if it's challenging cards, you can take and you can turn these challenging cards to reward. So this system is like really, really powerful. It's like the best self-development tool I've ever seen. And in terms of predictions, you can predict out 7 years from now, 13 years from now. You can look at your life 20 years from now. You can look at your past life. Each day has a unique energy and has a card that is associated with it, and it has karmas. So when you're born on that day, you become the representative of that day's energy. So celebrities, they shine pretty big because everybody gets to see their lives. So they become kind of like the cosmic or celestial representative of that energy. You know what I mean? They're a big mirror of that energy on us. And a lot of times what celebrities do is they mirror the bigger picture, the whole environment of what's going on right now. So if I turn on the TV and I'm looking at Hollywood and I'm looking at celebrities, it's going to tell me a lot about what the general energy is in the world. You understand? So sometimes that's why you see things kind of lumped together with celebrities. Like you'll see a lot of them either go to jail or a lot of them die at a certain time or whatever. They become the celestial mirror of what's going on right now. And not just celebrity politicians, like our president. He's a 3 of diamonds. And he is the celestial image of the change in our financial system, because that's what his card is about. His card is about transformation of money.
Wow. Yeah, so MB Walter X said you were on point. You were on point. Anthony M also said she's right. He said about the faith and money part with me, Bitcoin fell in my lap. So again, if you guys, because we got a lot of streaming with the chat room.
And that's another thing about crypto. We're going to get into that.
Yeah, we're going to get into that next.
Crypto is about faith.
Okay. So yeah, if you guys want your reading done, just super chat it. It'll come up in my super chat feed, and we'll try to get to it at the end of the video. So what one person said, this was interesting. One person was like, do Bitcoin's birthday.
I do.
All right, let's see. So what is Bitcoin?
I keep Bitcoin up in mind like nothing. Bitcoin's birthday is 1/3/2009, and it is a Jack of Spades.
Okay, what does that mean?
Now, this is the reason why people don't trust it. Jack of Spades is the spiritual initiate, but it's also the liar, the criminal, and the thief. So,
what does that mean?
So, what did Bitcoin come up off of? It came up off of the criminal industry, right?
Yeah.
But what the Jack of Spades highlights is the transition from the criminal element to the spiritual, the higher spiritual element. You know what I mean? Because what you have with Jack of Spades is, you know how you get guys, they go to jail and then they get spiritual while they're in jail. They get, they get involved with the Nation of Islam or whatever the case may be. It's an initiation. And that's what the Jack of Spades is. The Jack of Spades is the card of initiation into a new lifestyle. So when Bitcoin showed up, Bitcoin was bringing us into an initiation of a new lifestyle or a new way of transacting with money.
So hold on, before you go further, let me just be the contrarian and play devil's advocate here. Is there a possibility that your interpretation, like I can understand the facts that you're setting out here, is it possible that your interpretation is wrong? No.
Not at all. And the reason why I say that is because there are karmas that are associated with every card, right? Okay. So you just start ticking off the karma. Yeah, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. So with the Jack of Spades, again, Jack of Spades is also a card that represents the drug trade, you know?
Oh, yeah. It was used heavily. The money was
heavily affected, heavily, that's where a lot of the value came up on in the drug trade. Now, if you're like me and you get deep into the crypto industry in terms of working with other people in the industry, using crypto for services, etc., one of the things that you'll run into the most is you literally will run into quote unquote scams, right? Mm-hmm. So again, yes, this is one of the most scamiest industries there are. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the Jack of Spades is associated with scams, and getting beat out your money and getting robbed. And
I wonder what Craig Wright's birthday is.
But listen, it's not necessarily it's not all bad. Like I said, it's also the spiritual initiate. So a lot of times when I'm reading somebody and a Jack of Spades shows up, I know that they're getting ready to undergo some type of spiritual initiation in their life. The Jack of Spades is also the man or the person of many faces. Now, when you have a Jack of Spades, you're a person that has a lot of different faces. Like one place you may be one way, another place you're totally different. And that's me. I actually have a Jack of Spades in Venus. So I am different. And I also have an alter ego, which is Aquarius Maximus. And a lot of times, Jack of Spades is also the card of actors. So a lot of times you will find with the Jack of Spades, you'll find somebody who has an alter ego, another name or a stage name or stuff like that. So it's not necessarily just all an evil thing, but it has these associations with it. And the Jack of Spades is also a person that could be a jack of all trades or master of none because they give up too quickly. You know what I mean? So a Jack of Spades can obtain wealth, but a lot of times they don't want to stick around for that wealth to materialize.
Interesting. So let's expound.
How it applies to other people.
Yeah, so continue with the whole Bitcoin and its birth date and how what that reading does.
So there's many things going on with Bitcoin right now. Astrologically, I track Cardology and I also track astrologically. So Bitcoin is a Capricorn. As a matter of fact, most of Bitcoin's natal planets are in Capricorn, right? So you have what's called a stellium. So you have a bunch of planets that are associated in one sign, okay? So recently what you have is you have Saturn and you have Pluto in Capricorn, right? And Pluto is like the destroyer, but it's also the transformer, right? So Pluto is what gives Bitcoin its volatility. You know what I mean? Like it's going to go up, it's going to go down, it's going to do this, because that's Pluto, constantly in flux and transformation. However, Jupiter, which is the planet of abundance, a planet of blessings, a planet of, big wealth, just moved into Capricorn. So what Jupiter is doing now is Jupiter is about to roll over all of Bitcoin's planets, big time. So what Jupiter does is when it touches a planet, it blows it up. Right? It blows whatever it is, for good or bad. Just because it's Jupiter, it's not all the time just good. But so what you're going to have is you're going to definitely have some higher peaks with Bitcoin because Jupiter is rolling through. You're going to have some major conflict, court conflict, because Jupiter also deals with the high court. So now we're talking about the law. So what you're going to have is a huge legal battlefield going on, okay, with Bitcoin. But then you're also going to have the price peaks, and then you're also going to have a lot more international activity. Now, on the Cardology side, what I'm tracking with crypto is the Queen of Clubs, which is China. So
wow, that's a topic we're going to touch on tonight.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for the last decade, we've been under the influence of the Queen of Clubs. And I'm going to tell you who the Queen of Clubs is. The Queen of Clubs is Russia and China, right? Ooh. They're both the same card. That's why they're allies.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but
what's the United States? What's the U.S.?
What card? States is the Jack of Diamonds.
What does that mean?
A Jack of Diamonds that's that energy that ushers you into the new age of everything. So we came here for a purpose, and that's in the lifespan of the Jack of Diamonds, right? So a Jack of Diamonds person is a person that is like a friend to everybody. He's the one that is popular, has all the friends, everybody their friends. You know what I mean? Goes to every party. He's the hustler. He's the one that could sell any new idea. So that's what America is responsible for in the world. We sell new ideas. You know what I mean? So the ideas come. Yeah,
we do go around the world trying to be everyone's friend too.
Right, we do. But everyone's ally. But we sell lifestyles. Every new lifestyle came out of us. So we sell new lifestyles, we sell new types of everything. We put that seed out there in the world, and that's what the Jack of Diamonds does. The Jack of Diamonds is a pitch man. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So we're a Jack of Diamonds. However, within the Jack of Diamonds has been under the influence the last 10 years of the Queen of Clubs, again, which is China and Russia. And there was evidence, I saw in the cards, and I predicted this a long time ago, that Russia was infiltrating the United States via the elections, etc., because that showed up in the cards.
So you predicted this before Publicly,
Yeah,
publicly.
publicly. And the thing is, I already knew that Russia was doing these things because from the technology side, a lot of my big corporate clients were getting hacked at the time. So this was prior to the elections, shortly prior to the elections, my enterprise clients were getting hacked really badly. You know what I mean? So this is the thing, when you have the energy, it doesn't just affect one level, it happens on multiple levels. And because I'm a four of clubs, I'm a decoder, I pay attention to everything. Like I don't miss a nothing. You know what I mean? So I take note of things. So
Yeah.
when I see on the corporate side, we're getting hacked by Russia, et cetera. And then I also I hear them on the news start saying, well, there's talk of Russia hacking the elections. Of course, it makes sense to me because they've been attacking they just started attacking the enterprise and the government side. You know what I mean? So we already knew that in technology. If you were in technology and you worked in those areas, you already knew that we were under attack. We were being hacked. That was no secret in that world. So again, those are the things that I'm able to track. Now I see, again, the Queen of Clubs is big and it's a major player. So I know that that's in reference to the new currency coming out with China and the Queen of Clubs. Now, mind you, there's another Queen of Clubs that I want to mention who's equally as powerful as those Queen of Clubs. Queen of Clubs is also the card of Black women, which is why Black women buy hair from China. So China and Black women, we got this industry going on, $1 trillion industry going on, which is the hair industry. Both of us, Black women and China, are the same card. So we share like karmas. You know what I mean? So that is the reason, that's the draw. Because with Cardology, it shows the magnetic draw between people. What is the commonality? What is the energy that binds these two people?
What does Bitcoin's cosmetic or cosmology draw? What does it draw to? What does Bitcoin draw to? Have you ever looked into that?
Well, yeah, I said Bitcoin draws to the underworld. That's why it started that's why it began in the underworld. And that's why the founder had a pseudonym. He had there's a fake name, right? And what did I say about the Jack of Spades?
Yeah, they have different personalities.
Has
right.
Fake names and alter egos and etc. So that's what Bitcoin draws to. But I'll tell you one thing about Bitcoin. Because it is a Jack of Spades, that means that there is another one coming.
Ooh, okay. Okay, so does that mean that Bitcoin is not going to be the end all be all? There'll be another one that follows. I can see that. Okay. Does your readings show Bitcoin having a like a heroic death, like some type of
I wouldn't say that, and I actually believe that it's still going to maintain value. It's just not going to be used in the commercial sphere. It just like they say, digital gold. Yeah, digital gold, but nobody walks around spending gold.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what is it that's
going to
come next that people are actually using?
Yeah.
Spending. And that is the thing that is going to have more popularity.
See, that's crazy because that is, and I didn't even tell you. I only met you last week on the panel. That's my narrative, and that's what I think is going to happen. I don't see Bitcoin being utilized at all in the masses by society like that.
It is not. It's just an awakener. That's it. It's an awakener.
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly what I think. That's crazy. That's crazy. All right, so let's talk about kind of keeping in that same vein. I want to talk about China, and there are some new revelations that came out about China's coin, and I want to highlight. This is out of Decrypt Media, people. And the title of it is "Here's the Worrying Truth About or Behind China's Digital Currency." And some of the highlights that I want to show you guys is that according to local reports, the digital currency will offer speeds of 220,000 transactions per second, quite a distance from the 7 for Bitcoin. It says the current blockchain technology doesn't offer such high speeds because keeping a network fully decentralized puts limitations on it. So they're saying in this article that, and this should not be a shock to any of us people, this new digital renminbi is going to be highly centralized, and it's going to probably integrate within their already draconian social credit rating system that is estimated to go out in 2020. So it looks like this is going to all come together. And what was interesting with this one is that the article talked about they kind of sped up development after they saw Libra coming out, possibly, or trying to come out. I don't think Libra is going to launch, but they were like, whoa, we got a corporate entity looking to roll out a cryptocurrency to billions of people. Well, we got 1 billion and some change ourselves. Right. We've got our ecosystem it's not closed circuit, but it's a communist society, but capitalistic in nature, if that's the right term. Right. So their implementation of this coin is going to be like that. Right. What's your take on the new developments about this coin?
Well, knowing what I know about how that has impacted the world, the entire world, all of the central banks are scrambling right now to come up with their own digital assets. So if anybody in their right mind doesn't think that America doesn't already have one,
absolutely,
on the verge of launching,
right,
and something's wrong with them. You know what I mean? America is not that stupid. You know what I mean?
Right.
So everybody is on this race now to get out their centralized currencies. Now, none of that is going to work. None of it. Because, and this is the other level of it, because remember I said that Bitcoin is a jack of spades. That also means that it is spiritually. It was created spiritually. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, and I've seen this in action, you guys. Like, I swear to God, I've seen this in action. It's definitely about karma. And when I've been working with Blockcoin, and I see how the currency, how it transfers to people, how some people get it easy, some people it's difficult, some people it grows. And I'm watching that, and I'm also watching what I know about the energy of the day. It totally tells me that this whole cryptocurrency thing is about karma. And even Nipsey Hussle said it. He said that Bitcoin, he said that cryptocurrency is karmic money. And he was 100% right. And ironically, I'm mentioning his name, and today is his card, Jack of Clubs.
Oh, wow.
So that's another thing what happens in cardology. Cardology is a law of attraction. So the people who are the representative of those cards, they tend to pop up. That their messages pop up on that day. So there's a lot of profound messages that he definitely had. He was definitely, but that's what a Jack of Clubs is here to do. They're messengers. So they're here to share those kind of messages and messages about the Aquarian future. So he definitely, when he said it was karmic money, I 100% agree. And because it's karmic money, it's like no matter what you do, if it's not in alignment right now with the balance of things, it's just not going to happen. It's not going to work out the way that you think it's going to work out. That's why this whole cryptocurrency is like a grand experiment. People are doing things and they don't know how it's going to turn.
Yeah, I agree. And I just had an interview with a guy, and we were talking about the early days of cryptos and stuff, and we were just saying how we thought it was a big experiment then. We didn't know how it was going to turn out.
Right.
And still to this day, I feel the same way. There's a sense of energy of uncertainty in the crypto space still to this day, 10 years later.
Right. Yeah. Because that's tied into faith. The whole
yeah, that makes sense.
is uncertainty. You don't
Yes,
know what.
that makes
You
sense.
take a leap of faith. You don't know what's going to be on the other side.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's fed into the actual currency itself. So I'm not. So when they talk about doing this, that, and the other thing, I don't get too moved or too afraid or anything like that because I know that this already has its own intelligence.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
And that's why a lot of people look at crypto like it's some spiritual thing, blockchain. They're like they're like the blockchain god. You go places, they're like, oh my goodness, you know, the blockchain. Tell me about the blockchain. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's literally how I've come across people who literally have that kind of view when it comes to it. So it's like, because yes, it's the spiritual initiate. It's here to bring about some type of change that involves spirituality. So it's more than just money. People don't understand the science of money, that money is spiritual.
Yeah, definitely. So we do have a caller here, but I want to, before we get to that, I want to just point out, guys, and this is crazy because, you know, this whole digital renminbi, I think will be successful within China. I think it'll actually be successful with their allies as well, Russia, Brazil, some other countries in South America. But it's just funny because it really is nothing new as far as the concept. It's just a centralized crypto or centralized currency. And they're saying they're using cryptography, but well, you already use cryptography in your fiat digital currency.
Right.
So really, to me, it's just a rebranding of digital fiat currencies.
Well, the difference between theirs is collecting data. You know?
Yes, we're going to get to that.
So if you can imagine, you know, blockchains are like viruses, you know. So when you put out a node and you hope that more nodes spread, et cetera, people download a wallet. If they download a full wallet, they're creating another node and more nodes. So it spreads in a viral manner, right? So what they're intended on doing is not only you add that viral manner to it, but they're actually creating just a viral way of collecting data all along the way and preserving that data and writing it into the blockchain, and so it's immutable.
You're right. This new currency does carry an easier way of metadata tagging, right? You can do that with digital fiats now, but it's a little more esoteric. It's like it's harder to come about it. I would say this is a direct link to your spending habits, all of that, and it's going to tie right into their whole WeChat program or whatever they're using. I don't know what the popular system they use in China, but it's crazy that they're allowed. Like, I guess they can't allow. They can.
Someone asked me, "Is Ethereum a jack of clubs?" No, it's not. Ethereum's a jack of hearts.
Ethereum is a jack of hearts. Okay. So, what do you think the outcome is going to be with this whole China digital renminbi?
I think it's going to upset the whole entire world, like it's intended to do. But things like that are intended to bring about action. You know what I mean? So what the United States tends to do, because the Jack of Diamonds has a six of spades in Saturn. So, six of spades in Uranus. So what happens with the United States is we tend to impede the process of everything. We slow down everything so that we can attempt to control it. So China is provoking a move. You know what I mean? So that's only going to provoke a move. That's going to provoke a shift in us that we have to respond. And that's what we tend to do. We respond.
And so that's what we're seeing with Trump. People hate it or love it, but I think it's an attempt by him because he's seen what's happening here. And I think it's a futile attempt. Like, I don't think it's going to change the trajectory.
Well, Trump is Mars to China.
What does that mean?
Trump is literally the Mars card to the Queen of Clubs. So when you have a Mars relationship with someone, it's very volatile. You know what I mean? So having the three of diamonds there is like, okay, we love you in business and money, but we hate you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So there would be a literal, not to say necessarily war, but you're sitting on the verge. Like, you got your finger on the button. Who's going to push the button first?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So a Mars relationship for a president to a country is not good. That spells warfare.
Wow.
But again, it's like, who's going to go first? Who's going to do the first? Who's going to drop the shoe first? That's the three of diamonds.
Yeah, that's interesting because I definitely see that. I mean, I think that's pretty evident to everyone.
Yeah, but you know what? Another thing too. That's financial warfare. I'm sorry, you guys. Three of diamonds is financial warfare.
Okay. Yeah, so it won't be a kinetic war this go around. It'll be financial and AI as well.
Yeah, it'll be financial.
Interesting. I want to just highlight people, and this is we have to really keep a pulse on what's going on with China and how they're taking over dominance and supremacy in many categories when it comes to the U.S. And one out of Politico, I don't know if you guys remember, but about 2 years ago, President Xi announced that they have a national plan to become the world's leader in artificial intelligence by 2030. And when China puts their mind to do something, they have a different culture over there. They're like robots when it comes to their work ethic. They outwork us.
Right.
The whole 996, I think it is, that Jack Ma, whatever, kind of came up with.
But that's the queen of clubs. The queen of clubs is a workaholic. So that's the queen of clubs. Queen of clubs energy. They work.
Mm-hmm. So this whole AI supremacy thing is real, people, and they're actually. I was watching a documentary earlier, and they're catching up to us at a clip where in the next 10 years, 5 to 10 years, they will actually surpass us in AI supremacy. And so, how does that play into things? I mean, we've got companies like McAfee. I don't know if you guys are familiar with McAfee. It's the largest facial recognition company. They're getting ready to go do an IPO in Hong Kong soon. They're a unicorn company, blew up overnight basically, and they've got this thing locked down. Like, how do you see this playing out as far as AI and in that whole AI race? Who do you see winning that? Where do we go with that? Between the U.S. and China.
Well, what's going to happen is the world is definitely going to break up in factions. That's not going to be something that's just widely accepted off the bat by everybody. A lot of that comes out of China comes from a position of inferiority. So some people think when they see the word superiority, when in actuality it's inferiority. So people develop things like that because they feel inferior. And when you feel inferior spiritually, you're not going to get far on inferiority, because that's your own problem that you have to address. Everybody here on earth has lessons and has things that they have to overcome. And inferiority is a huge thing. That's something that you have to overcome. That's not something that everybody else has to fix for you. So I don't see them as being successful in a lot of these initiatives, and especially not quickly. You know what I mean? Because of where they stem out of, where they come out of. It's like this race, like you said, it's a race to be the first, and to introduce another type of intelligence. Well, what is your intelligence? How do you feel about your own intelligence? Mm-hmm. So if you are, I'm an engineer. You know what I mean? I don't spend my time thinking about how I can create something that's everybody's gonna love better than I love myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then with this whole and it's all like as I do more research about this topic, I'm starting to see kind of why different moves were made on each side. Like even with the whole Huawei arrest, CEO arrest in Canada, I believe. Like they're trying because of the whole AI thing and surveillance. You know, Huawei plays a big role in 5G. They're the leaders in that. They are going like they're so many steps ahead of us in China right now. And so
Well,
we're trying to play that. We're trying to play that chess move to block them.
I definitely know why they're so hard on surveillance, because that's a Queen of Clubs thing. Queen of Clubs are snoops. They like to know everything, and even black women. Don't leave your phone around us. If we're gonna go in your phone, if we can find some software to tell us what you're doing in your phone, we're gonna do that too. You know what I mean? But that's what the Queen of Clubs does. The Queen of Clubs is an investigator. They want to know everything. You know what I mean? Because they're in a fear. It's a what do you call it? Paranoia, a bit of paranoia. You know what I mean? And again, that's not a good thing. You know, that's not a spiritual earth-based lesson. We're still here to learn spiritual lessons, regardless of what people think.
Right.
You know, so we can push out our inferiorities as much as we want, and we may get to a point, but inevitably what it does is blows up in our face. And a lot of people don't even know the story of Atlantis. They don't know how far we've gotten technology-wise. They think that we've been in the Stone Age forever, and we haven't. We've been through these types of things lots of times.
Right. Yeah, I definitely agree with you and believe that the story of Atlantis has a lot of truth there, for sure. This article out of CNBC, and we're going to get to this caller. I guess we can do that now, actually. I totally forgot about a caller on the line. It's your boy Crypto Blood, Off the Chain, episode 17. What's good?
Hey, what up, Crypto?
What's going on, man?
Hey, how you doing? Hey, you and your guest is on point tonight. Hey,
Thank you.
Could I give you my opinion on the next coin?
The next coin? Absolutely.
That I think, yeah. And if you got time, you can go to the website. It's BEOS, and I've been hitting you up on the chats about that. I've been doing homework on it for a while, and you know, it's created off EOS. It's like a twin of EOS, and the BEOS. If you go to beos.world and go to the browser, and you can type in like Visa, MasterCard, Google, I think is Walmart, and all of those big companies are staking cryptocurrency there. And you have Sovereign Sky, on all of them connected. And that's why I try to tell people read the white papers. It's a sleeping giant. On the Sovereign Sky, it actually have on the Sovereign Sky white paper, it actually have the layout of when everything is coming out. Even 2021 is the big start for the United States and the whole world. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys that. And hey, we talking about it right now. Okay, I see you at it. So if you don't mind, you go to BEOS browser up at the top.
Let me see here.
It's at the very top.
I don't see.
If you
Explore.
have BEOS, it says BEOS blockchain. Sorry about that. And then go to Explore.
Oh, Explore, yeah.
Yeah, so if you don't mind, type in like Visa card right quick, and I'm going to show you something.
You said Visa?
Visa or either Walmart.
Let's see here. Visa. I'm not. Okay, there we go. Okay, Visa account. Okay.
If you look at it, you'll see where's the RAM, the CPU and net and all of that. And if you scroll down, the mana tokens on there, you see, I don't have that part pulled up, but dealing with the mana token, right, it allows you to be able to get more of the security tokens because of the way they have it set up, dealing with the laws. And all of that appear once, it's 300 and some more days that you have before everything go live on there. But you can type in like Walmart or whatever major company you can think of. Some of them will pull up and some of them won't. But I'm giving you guys what everybody is looking for. And I shouldn't put this out here, but I will, just because it's you. Only way you can get the BEOS tokens, you have to have a BitShares, which is a decentralized platform. And
that was Dan Limmer and his father's first project.
Right, exactly. If you look on my Twitter page, you already linked in on Twitter with me, and just go through some of the videos that I put on there. And I went back and there's a lot of videos where Dan and his father was talking, and you'll really find out who actually put Bitcoin into space. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, Dan Lemmer used to talk and argue with Satoshi,
Right.
So
well,
he's an OG.
To me, this is my opinion. I think Satoshi was his dad. If you really go back and listen to some of the conversations, and it's also a small group, but if you really go back and dig into the conversations of them guys, it will amaze you.
Interesting. Okay, man. Definitely. Anything else you wanted to make mention of?
Hey, your guest, amazing. She's on point.
All right. Thanks for the call, man.
Most left. Thank you.
Right. All right. Yeah, so I have to look. I've heard about BOS or BEOS before. There's so many projects. I tend to just try to stick to what I know, and if I see something new, I'll get around to doing a more deep dive into it. There's so many projects that I think that just won't make it. It doesn't matter how good it is. They just simply won't make it because there's only room for X amount of coins, because a lot of the coins are doing the same thing. If you don't have any competitive advantage.
I'll tell you one thing.
Go ahead.
The competitive advantage is within the Queen clubs. So that's what has. There's two cards that have dominion right now. And that's the Queen of Clubs and the Nine of Diamonds. The Nine of Diamonds is the card that represents people of color, people who are out of the African diaspora. Which is why, and in this year, the United States has a Nine of Diamonds in Jupiter, which is why reparations is such a big topic in this election. People don't understand that this whole conjunction that's going on right now, Jupiter, that's going on with Saturn and Pluto, is about karma. So it's about restoring the karmic balance, and it's also about disrupting the power. You know what I mean? So these are the cards that have these particular cards are cards that you need to look at. That's why Obama was a Nine of Diamonds, right? And when he came about, it was more of a symbolic thing. It was an energetic thing. It wasn't about who he was as a person. It was about the fact that the Nine of Diamonds now is coming into play. Now, mind you, Bush was a Nine of Diamonds too.
Okay.
But Obama represented the real energy of the Nine of Diamonds, which is the African diaspora. So that's to get us all riled up. You understand what I'm saying? And to get us ready to receive, because that's the problem with people of color, is that the reason why we haven't had karmic justice is because we haven't set ourselves up to receive it. You have to set yourself up to receive it. Now, cryptocurrency is a wonderful way to set yourself up to receive it. You know what I mean? So, and there are a lot of other structures in order to receive it. It's not a matter of the universe not wanting to give you what's due you. You have to be ready. You got to be ready to accept it. You got to be ready to get it. You got to be ready to step up for it, or you just won't get it.
So I wasn't a huge fan of Obama as a president, as a person. Of course, he represents the image of a black man to his fullest, is in a positive light, right? Because the media tends to not do
Right.
that purposefully. But
Right.
as a president, I wasn't impressed.
But none of the presidents really impressed you, did they? Because that's not a role to impress you. You know
Uh
what I mean?
huh.
That's a role.
Well, I will say
Recently, maybe
Trump is impressing me.
right. But
Trump is whether
Trump,
people like it or not. He's
Trump,
honest about what he's
Trump
trying to
is
do.
the
And
unpresident president.
okay,
So, of
yeah.
course, there's
Yeah.
never been a president like Trump. He's the
Right.
unpresident president. But
Nah, I wasn't. Yeah, I
prior
wasn't
to
impressed
him,
with
there
Bush.
haven't been too many presidents that will impress you because that's not their
No.
role. They're figureheads. You know what I mean? However, the energy that they represent, that impacts us because after Obama, now you have more people running. You know, you have people of color who are now gaining an interest in politics, awakening in politics. You know what I mean? Like running
You're
for
right.
local politics.
You're right. Like he did kick it off. Like even Obama was a politician. He was,
Yeah.
but he was the first era of a different politician. He was black. I mean, he was a
Right.
black guy, a
But
black
prior
president.
to that, we were losing interest in it all together.
Yes.
We were not voting
Yes.
in local
Very
elections.
true.
We were
Very
not
true.
voting in state elections. We
Very
were
true.
not voting in any of that stuff.
Mhm.
So he changed that paradigm to whereas we now see that we can have an impact politically. We can. It's not going to be no overnight thing. You know what I mean? You got to build that back up. You got to build the intelligence around it. But that's what's happening. The intelligence around politics is building, especially in the millennials.
Mhm.
So that intelligence is building in them. So now they want to go out and vote. My kids vote, you know, and they wouldn't have never even thought about voting. Now they vote regularly. You know what I mean? So this is a paradigm shift, and that's what these people represent. They bring paradigm shifts to us.
Gotcha. So I want to touch on this to keep on the narrative of surveillance. Man, so Apple issues new warning for millions of iPhone users, and this is just, I mean, we can talk about this after I kind of go over this.
But none of that is new. These devices have been intrusive since I'm an app developer. You know what I mean? Like these devices have been intrusive since forever.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a lot of SDKs that many apps use, incorporate within their app that tracks your whereabouts, where you shop, and all that stuff.
And Apple is more intrusive than anything. It's more intrusive.
Yeah, but okay, so that's interesting you say that because, and I just want to highlight this for people. If you look at like the latest Apple campaigns, and it's all about privacy, and they're putting that whole privacy campaign out on their commercials and stuff. What is your thought about commercials, TV? I'm sure you're going to say it's programming mechanism or network. I feel like anything I see on TV, I'm going to probably believe the opposite.
Let me tell you something. I never considered myself a spiritual person.
Mm-hmm.
But as I got more spiritual and isolated myself and paid attention more to the inside, now when I watch stuff like that, it has meaning.
Mm-hmm.
It has a deeper meaning. You know, everything has a meaning to me. I'll turn on a commercial and it'll have a meaning to me that's different than maybe the outer meaning of what it is. Because you have the occult and you have the flat out what it is. And then you have the occult meaning, which is the hidden meaning behind it. You know what I mean?
I mean, look at the logo. I told my mom, and she didn't even realize this. I'm at my grandmother's house the other day for her birthday, and I'm telling them about AI and stuff and trying to help them understand where we are with this. And I'm like, look at your phone. Your phone. I said, your Apple phone has a bite out of it. What do you think that means, Ma?
The tree of life, the biting out of, and
exactly. And she didn't even realize that. And my mom's a church going lady, so she started getting. I'm like, see, you don't even know what you're using.
Apple is a 7 of spades. So, and it's funny because the seven of spades is also the card of accidents, and people who have iPhones are always breaking their screens. So that's just by design. They're always cracking their screens. They're always breaking their phones. It is the most non-durable phone there is.
Well, it's heavier than a brick.
Yeah.
So if you drop it,
right. But in terms of the seven of spades, one of the downfalls of the seven of spades energy is sometimes it tends to be a person that is so materialistic. So that's the type of person that Apple attracts.
That's true.
It attracts
that's very true.
People who like pretty gadgets, not necessarily functional. Because the iPhone is nowhere near as functional as an Android. As a developer, I'm telling you that. It's nowhere near as functional.
No, nowhere. I've never
had
Apple.
Two phones. I had my iPhone and I had my Android.
Right.
I actually do my real work on my Android.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's not really as functional, but it's pretty. And it's
it is pretty.
And it's glitzy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the type of people that it attracts. So that means that it's harvesting rich people's data. You know what I mean? So it's harvesting the data of people who really got money and got things to hide. You know what I mean? So you got iCloud, and every so often you get an iCloud breach where everybody's information is leaked or somebody gets into somebody's information. You have things like that. That's where 99% of the entertainment industry is on Apple. Right?
Yeah. So let me point out this in the article from Forbes. And maybe I'll drop this. Let me drop this. I'll drop it in the chat room so people can check it out for themselves. But this article, one part in it, and it shows you how to turn off the GPS, because essentially what Apple was doing, they first denied it from this security specialist who revealed that Apple's new iPhone 11 range are seeking information about your location, even when users have specifically changed the phone's privacy settings to stop this from happening. So that's the major part of this article. When people even tell Apple that they don't want to be tracked via GPS signaling, they were still being tracked. And so they blamed it on this whole ultra wideband technology as a standard that many, I guess, countries are requiring them to do that. But the one part I want to just to highlight, I think somewhere in the article, it talked about a whistleblower who essentially revealed that they heard clips. Basically, the Apple company was siphoning off and housing people's information off of the Siri audio. So they were saying that this whistleblower said that they heard clips which included private medical information, drug deals, and recordings of couples having sex. Apple subsequently apologized, shut down the center, and promised to give users a privacy setting which would enable them to delete their Siri recordings in the future iOS.
Yeah, that's that Alexa stuff. Yeah,
Alexa as well. So
that's that Alexa stuff.
We're going down a path here that I'm concerned about. Are you concerned about this, Savannah?
But this is not new. We're just finding out about it.
I had
clients that were tracking people on Blackberries. I had clients that were tracking people on Palm Pilots. This is not
okay.
New.
True, but when we're adding this type of surveillance in conjunction with AI, though, the AI part is fairly new. The last 8 to 10 years, I would say the last 6 years, to be honest with you.
Well, this just means that you have to fight for your power. You know what I mean? We live in a society where people feel like they're powerless. And whenever you have that, you have an imbalance. You know what I mean? And that's an imbalance that has to be fixed. In order to fix the imbalance of power struggles, you got to actually fight for your power. You got to stand up for your power, and you can make the change. You know what I mean? So this is all empowerment issues. I'm going to do as much as I can to you that you're going to allow me to do. And when you step up and say enough is enough and lay down your boundaries, then you win. It's that simple.
Interesting. I agree. We got a caller. I'm going to get to him, but I want to follow up with this article out of CNBC. What were your thoughts about this one? 1 billion surveillance cameras will be watching around the world in 2021. A new study says. It also says 1 billion. The report comes as experts warn about the potential risks of surveillance technology, including potential access to data by the Chinese government. And this is what I was talking about, because China is really setting themselves up, in my opinion, to have an infrastructure globally. Maybe not here in the United States as much, because we're kind of waging a war against them, but they're partnering with third world countries to set up their surveillance systems for them. Hey, we'll do this for you. We'll set it up all for you. It'll cost you this, but we'll do it for a discount. But it's got their chips, it's got their technology. And so and you have to chime in because you're technical as well. What this seems to me to be doing is casting a potential surveillance net
right
from China to other countries,
right
whether it be South America, Africa, countries in Africa.
Definitely Africa, because they're already in Africa. So
they're already in Africa. They're buying up, doing deals with them. What are your, I'm really concerned about
the thing is
these moves.
You get what you ask for.
And what do you mean by that?
And unfortunately, when we've gotten lazy to the point where we don't want to deal with our own issues. We don't want to get out there and, make sure that our streets are safe and yada, yada, yada. You have people who call for more safety. And when they call for more safety, what do you get? You get more surveillance.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? But if you actually stepped out and did the old school thing of providing safety for people and making sure that we're safe on the streets, then people won't be begging for this type of technology to help keep them safe. So it's just a product of what we ask for. You got to be careful what you ask for in this world. It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
You ask for more security. Like, what do we got going on right now? We got women and children being kidnapped and sold into sex trafficking, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the big talk of the day, right?
Yeah.
So what is going to be the solution to that? Surveillance.
Yeah. How does crypto play into that? Does it help or hinder us?
To the sex trafficking industry?
No, not so much not so much sex trafficking.
Or to surveillance.
Yes.
I think that it doesn't help nor hinder. It just is.
It's a net neutral.
It's a neutral in that area. It just is. You know what I mean?
What about the privacy coins?
I don't think that, I personally don't think that with the coming regulations we got coming, that privacy coins are going to be allowed in this country.
I agree. I feel the same way. Now, I think it'll be marginalized to the point where you'll look like a bad guy. Exactly. Like you're doing something illegal having them.
But you got to understand, the bad guys are using it. You know what I mean? So they're buying child pornography. They're buying children with it. So, you always get that element that kind of gets out of control and ruins it for everybody.
But this is the conversation I had with someone about this on a Kicking It session this week, actually. What I'm realizing with this whole cryptocurrency thing and how I viewed it in the earlier days was that decentralization was, when I say decentralization, I mean fully to the right side of the spectrum, meaning 100% decentralization is the best route and most liberty seeking way we could live, or liberty, liberal way or way we can be free. But what I'm seeing is that fully decentralized has its cons as well.
Right.
Because you can't stop things like can't stop things like pornography or child porn and all that type of stuff will run rampant if we have a fully decentralized
society. And then another thing is, gradient. We're not a fully decentralized civilization and society.
No, we're not.
So we have people that are constantly trying to influence the flow of information. So as long as you can influence the flow of information, it'll never be decentralized, because if somebody who has more money can buy up all of the ad space and influence the flow of information, then they are the central authority. because they have more money and they can influence the flow of money. And that's exactly what they accused the Russians of doing in Facebook and during the elections, of buying ads and stuff like that to influence the flow of, you know, the direction of data and influence people. And that's what we live. That's the type of society we live in.
It's funny. It's funny that the narrative was that, and I'm not saying that Russia didn't try to meddle in the influence one way or the other. Not necessarily saying they were trying to do it for Trump, because Trump was saying they were doing it for Hillary. If you recall, he was like, you know, he was concerned about that. But it's funny to see.
Honestly, I don't think they were doing it for neither one of them. You know what I mean? I think they were doing it for their own agenda.
Gotcha.
So
what I was gonna say is that Facebook was doing it themselves.
Yeah, but what people got to understand is that Facebook tries to run a lot of this stuff off of bad algorithms. You know what I mean? So these algorithms are created that may totally exclude in populations. Like, for instance, the other day I posted an ad and I was trying to zero in on a particular market, and they flagged my ad for potentially being racist. You know what I mean? To my own people. But again, that's because this is all, they're trying to implement something that is more machine controlled than anything. And because they're implementing something that's more machine controlled and has a lack of data, racial accurate data, they did this without involving Black people in any of the algorithm creation processes. Therefore, you're going to have all of these types of things happen. You know what I mean? And that's what they've been accused of. If you looked at when Zuckerberg was on trial, well, not trial, at the hearing, that's what he had to keep answering about. You know, how involved were Black people when you were creating your algorithms? Not at all. So if Black people are not involved in the creation of the algorithms, then how can you have an algorithm that governs and includes Black people?
Oh, yeah, that's a big issue that AI has.
That's like a no-brainer. So
yeah, AI has some huge prejudiceness.
But the prejudice comes in you assuming that automatically Black people are the same as everybody else is. And when you assume that, you know, I love humanity, I love all people, I'm not racist, but all people are not the same.
No.
So you can't.
And that's a beautiful thing.
It is. Diversity is wonderful. That's what makes Earth.
Right.
However, you can't take one brush and just brush it over, you know, because that's just you being presumptuous. You know what I mean? And you think you're including people, but you're not. You know, so that becomes a big problem. So Facebook's biggest challenge right now, and it is no matter what they say, it's not Libra, it's not anything else but diversity. You know what I mean? Because he was asked, do you include racial data? He said no. You know, that the platform doesn't include racial data.
That's a damn lie.
Yeah, it does include some type of racial data.
Has to.
Yeah, I mean, it's just,
even if they don't know, because they're using a lot of like open AI learning machine scripts and stuff.
Right,
so it's doing its own stuff.
Right.
Many times they don't even know.
Right. So that's not going to work right now, especially in a world where there's a big hole in data in regards to people of color. You know what I mean? They've admitted that. They've admitted that there's a black hole when it comes to data, when it comes to us. You know, so, and that is one of the most valuable data available now is data from people of color, because it just doesn't exist. You know what I mean? As an entity, you know, so we haven't stepped in and created these platforms that host our data collectively, you know, so it's just kind of out there floating, you know, and then they assign it to us. It's just like somebody assigning something to you. Somebody gives you an outfit to wear that you don't like to wear, but you didn't pick one, so they're giving you one. They're putting it on you.
Yeah.
So that's
shout out to Air Coins Lee. I got your request. We'll definitely do your reading at the end of the show. So stick around for that. Yeah, that's crazy. And just to touch really quickly on the article, some more out of CNBC, and I'll drop this in the link as well. There are an estimated 770 million surveillance cameras installed around the world today, and 54% of those cameras are in China, according to a pared down version of the report which CNBC has seen, and that is set to be made widely available next week. So China is home to some of the world's largest makers of video surveillance products. China's push to export surveillance camera technology, including to liberal democracies, has raised concern over the risk of data being funneled back into Beijing. And this is exactly what I was just talking about. They are definitely doing this in third world countries, even second world. I mean, they are basically giving this equipment away to these people, these governments, these smaller governments, and it looks intriguing. It looks, like something that a smaller country would love to jump on, but they don't even realize there are probably backdoors and all types of stuff going on in the background. So this is something that, guys, just to keep you kind of abreast of what's going on, China is basically casting a surveillance net not only within their country but also around the globe. So I know the United States has to know about this, and again, this is probably why they've been positioning and trying to push back on certain things. For so many years, we've been pandering to China. We've been selling our soul essentially just to keep the gravy train going of low cost goods importing into the United States. So it's really crazy what's going on. I think it's too late though. I don't think whatever Trump attempts to do is not going to work.
It is. But see, another thing that we have to ask ourselves is, I always talk about there's a false sense of privacy anyway. I'm like I said, I told you I'm a spiritual person. I have my ancestral deities, everything all around me. So I know I'm never by myself. I know someone's always looking at me. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, there's an African OG that speaks about it that says you should operate as though someone is always watching you. And when you think about that, it definitely forces you to make different decisions and to act differently, because when you think that someone is always watching you, and spiritual people already, like I said, they already exist like that. They know that spiritually there's entities watching you. You know what I mean? So this only makes it more clear to people that, you're not as alone as you think you are, and you are being watched. But I guess the difference is with governments is like, okay, I watch you, and I can do something with this on this side, you know what I mean, to you. Whatever. And that becomes an empowerment issue. Now, what do you do to lay your power down, to declare your power? Because you do have a right. You have a right to declare your power and your sovereignty on this earth. You do. You really do. And once you do it, all is well. You know what I mean? But you give it up when they offer you something all over again. When they offer you a nice, pretty, shiny phone that does everything, and it costs $1,000. You go running to buy that phone, then you done gave it up again, and you get back at square one. But that's just humanity. That's what we do.
Interesting. Yeah, I agree. One more article about surveillance, guys. We got to check this one out. I've known about this for a long time. I don't know, many of you may not. See, here's the thing about these tech giants, Tavania. They are tricky because they slide in features and stuff that are enabled by default, and you kind of agree to the new terms of service that comes out. You don't read it.
You don't read that terms of service.
Who reads it? Who has time?
I don't even read it.
I don't either. So with that being said, they implement these new features that are on by default. Yeah, you can turn them off. You got freedom to turn them, but if you don't even know they're on, how do you turn something off that you don't know it's actually already enabled?
Right,
so
exactly.
This one out of CNBC, and again, I've known about this. Mine is still on because whatever. I'm not. Yeah. Doesn't matter. But Google Maps tracks everywhere you go, and this is an interesting. I'll drop this one in the chat room now for some of you guys who aren't as technical and stay on top of this type of stuff, so you can see this. But essentially, they do track, man. And if you guys go into what you need to do is open up Google Maps on your iPhone or Android. You can tap the menu bar to the left. It's buried down in there too. Choose your timeline, and you will be shocked. It goes back. When I first found this, Tavania, it was maybe about a year and a half ago. And I think it was new then, right? But here's the kicker. It was a new feature then, maybe about a year and a half, 2 years ago. It was a new feature to all of us. However, they've been collecting our data for years. So I started just going back. It was a new feature, but I
think originally when it came out, was it Google Latitude? There was an app. Maybe,
yeah.
And I know of the app because a lot of ladies used to track their boyfriends with this app.
Gotcha.
But
yeah,
it was an app. You could pull it up, and whoever had an Android phone, you could see where they are, where they going in real time.
Yep. Yeah, real time.
And that was like,
I started going through it, and I was able to swipe back almost 2 years, but the feature just came available that day. Yeah. So it was crazy. But the article talks about how you can deactivate it or change the time as far as how long you allow Google to track it. So it says choose your timeline, tap the 3 dots on the top right of your screen, choose settings and privacy, select automatically delete location history, and then change the setting from keep until I delete manually. Look at that.
You think that's freaky, right? I have something that every time I put it on somebody's eyes, it blows their mind. I'm very much into VR. So I have an Oculus Quest, right? Mm-hmm. So one of my favorite apps in Oculus Quest is Google Wander, right? So you essentially put an address in anywhere, you can go anywhere in VR, like you're there. Now, mind you, it does have a delay, like you can't go to the real time because I guess they'll say, yeah, you're spying on people. But you can go anywhere. So you can put in all your old addresses, go to where you used to live and see it almost up to the current time and all of that. So it's like, there's some amazing stuff out there that people don't know is there. Like, because there's still a lot of people in VR. There's not a lot of people who have Oculuses. I talk to people every day. I'm like, I had my Oculus for almost 2 years now. And it's like when I put it on people's eyes, they're like, oh my God, this exists? And like, yeah, it's been around for a while. So what we're getting down to the phone is still old stuff. Super old. You know what I mean? And then any type of feature that you have, you can hack a feature. You know what I mean? You can expand a feature. That's what developers do. We go in different apps and we do other stuff with it. So it's, this stuff it's old. It's super old.
Let me get my man Pat on the line here. He's been holding on. He's been calling in every week. Pat, what's going on, man?
So it's good to be back on. So thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I'd like to say that, you have a wonderful guest on right now. And, I love VR too. I'm actually heavily invested in the blockchain space, Decentraland, Mark.space. Even I go on Altspace, and I do music shows, open mics, and even host events with the Blockchain Center in Miami. In fact, we did an art event inside of VR recently, and it was pretty awesome.
Art Basel's going on right now, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, it just closed out. They had the after party and everything. I'm heavily involved in communications with the team, and I was actually doing some music for them for our event. So we actually charged people to go to the Blockchain Center inside of VR. So they would be there physically, but then they put on the headset, and then it's like you just like broke the fourth wall, and you were in the same room inside of VR.
Yeah.
And you were seeing art and whatnot, and the art's also tokenized. But that's completely off the subject matter of what I really called in to talk about, and that was about anti-espionage inside of the telecommunication industry right now, and as how this technology is maturing and is actually being shipped to market right now as we speak, in the form of laptops and in the form of cell phones. So here's the thing. This is a Ledger Nano, as you guys probably already know, typical hardware wallet. But what if you had this same capability on a smartphone where instead of having the phone just be a wallet, you're able to pull out a key that's attached to the phone and then put the key into the laptop as well. But the key also encrypts all of your data. It literally operates as a form of sharding for unlimited storage, IPFS cloud storage that's encrypted via SHA 512-bit encryption. And also, you get $6 a month of unlimited service. I kid you not. This is exactly what's being shipped. And all of this is being implemented via voice over blockchain protocol. And
but here's the thing. That sounds revolutionary, for sure. But the problem is the masses don't even know. They don't even know they need that. That's the problem.
I disagree because they've already sold over 25,000 units of this.
But let me tell you, that is the beautiful thing, and that is the message that I got in terms of crypto and why I did Blockcoin the way that I did it. I can develop anything, but basically what it boils down to is money, is spending. That's all people want to do inherently is, how do I buy milk? Think about it. The mother, right, who has 6 or 7 kids, you know what I mean, which represents a large population in the world. Their basic thought is, how am I going to buy this, or how am I going to get this food to feed my family? How am I going to pay my rent? How am I going to do this? That is their most basic thought. And these are the people responsible for over 90% of the spending and buying in this planet. You understand what I'm saying? So the most important thing to them is transacting. That's all they care about, is how do I buy this and how do I bring it home to my family?
I'm glad you brought this up, is because there's actually a payment protocol called K-Merchant that is also integrated within these devices and also being distributed amongst all these different merchants, where physically you can go to a hotel in Belgium and pay for your stay, scan a QR code, and pay with cryptocurrency, Ethereum, BTC, KBC, which is the native token that operates the ecosystem for the voice over blockchain protocol. And literally,
how are they going to translate that to regular language? How are they going to translate that? And that's something that, and I'm going to tell you another thing that's been missing in the blockchain industry. If you notice that, and I come from a marketing background as well, but if you notice, blockchain cryptocurrency is almost totally devoid of marketing. And because marketing involves dumbing down everything,
right,
so that somebody gets something.
And that's funny. And this echoes the same thing I've been having conversations about even last week. I said blockchain has a PR problem.
Yes, it does. It does, because everything in marketing has to be created to market towards a certain age level, grade level, everything, and it's like that. You know what I mean? That's how much airtime you get with people.
May I interject? Well, here's the thing. The company that's manufacturing these products is actually native to multi-level marketing. And that's the main reason why it's doing so well. We have over 1 million affiliates worldwide that have been selling these products and pushing this payment solution. And it's literally gone viral. In fact, it's still going viral right now, but it's less than a year old. It's about to be coming up on a year old here soon. And we've seen tremendous growth. The coin natively went from half a cent to 15 cents.
Let me tell you what it means when it went viral. When it goes viral, Cardi B is going to be singing about it.
Right. And that's what I was going to say, Pat.
That's just the reality of it. When it goes viral, when it's really viral, Cardi B, Jay-Z's going to make a song about it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say,
viral.
Pat, you got to realize, you said some stat about 25,000 units shipped of I think the device you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that is... In maybe in crypto, yeah, that's good. But in the real world, that's not even That's something a startup company with
of course.
$250,000 of
Little
angel investment
baby,
would do.
gonna sell a
Pardon me. This is a pre-sale. Mind you. This is an absolute pre-sale from a product that hasn't even shipped yet to the consumers. And there's going to be brick and mortar operations where they're going to be selling these phones and laptops as long with gold bullion at the store, the physical locations. It's going to be just like an Apple experience, but a gold-plated.
But you know what? I hear what you're saying. I'm a geek. Trust me, I hear what you're saying.
She's a data scientist, man. Computer science background.
I'm a straight geek, but on my business side,
you got the marketing.
I'm also a businesswoman.
Yeah.
Right? So if I was on Shark Tank and I was sitting up here, it'd be a no.
Yeah.
That's way too much for the average consumer to be able to really get. You know what I mean? It's usually, that's why people can get up there and sell a rubber band, because it's simple and it's just one thing and it's a rubber band. But when you're pushing something out to the masses, there's only going to be one pointer that's going to be the thing that captures, and not 10 technologies. This is not going to work. There's a lot of coins out there, a lot of blockchains out there that do incredible stuff like that. They have incredible tools. But the reason we haven't achieved mass adoption is because they're not speaking to the people. They're with this stuff. They're not speaking to them at all.
I beg to differ, because we live in a hyperinflationary system where there's a lot of wealth concentrated at the top. And
most people don't know that though, Pat.
I get it. But then, like, literally people are fighting over scraps, and people are still making sales on high ticket items. Like the phone I just described to you, $1,500. Like,
but look at people are spending that much on iPhones, but iPhones don't really. A lot of people watch the keynotes, but people in the streets don't watch the keynotes. They just go buy the daggone phone. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, because of the brand that they built over time, over some little minute stuff, and they're still buying. It's still a brand that sells itself.
Now, what if I told you that there was a way for, all right, you and I, everybody that watches this stream hopefully knows that money is fictitious. As it stands today, fiat currency is fictitious.
Right.
What if I told you that there's a form factor and a way to actually move gold tangibly and physically inside of digital space via the blockchain? And this is what's backing this asset class in this phone and laptop at the same time. And you can actually take a QR code, walk up to an ATM, scan it, pull out physical gold, and then walk away. Or
let me tell you what my problem with that is. And I tell you, like I told the people at Carrot Bars, we don't own the gold.
Wait, pardon me?
We don't own the gold.
Right. Yeah.
So every time you get in that game, you ain't doing nothing but fattening somebody else's pockets up.
Yeah, it's the same. Pat, it's the same.
And killing a lot of people in the process. There's people mining them golds as our people, but they ain't getting paid for it.
Yeah. So Pat, that goes back to the whole paradox or the situation where we had with the form of the first central banks. So people would put their money, their gold, in a bank vault, so that they wouldn't have to have it be at home at secure, risk of being stolen. But over time, the banks smartened up and saw, wait a minute, only 10% of the people withdrew their gold ever. So why don't I just take these receipts that are supposed to be certificates of my deposit, and I just start issuing a little bit more than what I have in my bank. That's all.
But here's the thing. This note is actually embedded with gold inside of it. It's not just like a receipt that's issued by a central bank. It's actually tangible, physical 24 karat gold embedded with a.
But the token is not tangible. It's a digital form, right?
Well, the token is actually a smart contract that
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. You don't really own it until you take receipt of that, right?
But for the most part, the idea is for you to go through the KYC procedures to make sure that there's no money laundering involved, and then actually walking up to the machines and actually tangibly pulling these things out.
You know what them folks is trying to do with that gold? They trying to sell us crap. Little pieces of crumbs of gold. off of the gold that they already have, because they're losing the market for it. So anytime they lose a market for it, yeah, they're going to start wholesaling out crumbs of what they have so that you go running for it. You know what I mean? This is the thing. Bitcoin isn't backed on gold or any of that. And look
exactly.
at the of it.
That's what,
That's
what we have to get back to,
you
Pat.
don't need their stuff. You don't need the precious metals that they stole. You don't need any of that.
Pat,
it's not necessary.
Pat, what happens when a situation like Veritasium, where the government comes in, says they're illegal, makes up the rules, moves the goalposts, and closes down shop? Now that hoard of gold that your token represents is useless. There's no.
You don't want to have another.
You don't want to have a counterparty risk.
Yeah, you don't want to. You don't want.
Well, he was asking me a question, so can I business, please? Anyway, nonetheless, so good question, by the way. I believe that since we are involved in many different jurisdictions globally, including Belize, where the establishment of the cryptocurrency is and was issued, and the government is incredibly loyal in that jurisdiction.
Now
we're placing trust in Belize. What if Belize?
This is all about trust.
About Iceland. But would you rather trust a central bank, which is?
I'd rather trust nobody.
That's why we're in crypto.
Yeah, I'd rather trust nobody, Pat. There's no need to trust anyone, and that's the point that we trying to drive home here, and that's why I do this channel, man, is to educate people. See, back in the earlier days of cryptos, this was the fundamental ethos of this whole point of cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. It's a trustless system.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about Belize being compromised by the United States when they waive $10 billion or China or whatever. It doesn't matter. Every country and governmental entity has a compromise failure point. There's a point of compromise that will always be there.
Right. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with Venezuela. Venezuela tried to, come up with their own crypto, but they're sanctioned. So all the United States did was tell all the exchanges, you can't have that. You can't trade with that. And that just sent that down to the...
That was, of course, a government-backed crypto token, really. That wasn't really truly...
Yeah, but even a government sanctioning something, sanctioning a coin or associating with it in a way threatens it.
Yeah. So at any point, Pat, the United States can say to Belize, we're going to sanction you if you continue to operate with this coin, this token that you're talking about, Pat.
Right.
Boom. They're going to stop because they get aid from the United States. Or it could be any country that they get aid from. They could say that. That's the central point of failure where it's unnecessary and we don't need it in cryptocurrencies, man.
That's why I said that.
Because of the node system that's backing the network entirely and how the nodes have been fully distributed amongst many peers already. And these nodes are generating transaction fees and wealth already as we speak.
But you do know, I'm in blockchain security. You do know that it's quite easy to blacklist nodes. It's easy to blacklist you from exchange, because really you have to be able to be tradable on an exchange somewhere. And if the exchanges turn around, they're working on a global blacklist now. They have global blacklists. They're working on global KYC right now.
I'm aware. Actually, it's already implemented through Chainalysis, of course.
Chainalysis,
for a while.
Yeah.
Well, Pat, I definitely appreciate your input on everything. Always a pleasure having you call in, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thanks again.
Okay, bro. Yep. All right. So thanks for the call in, Pat. Unfortunately, though, I'm going to have to give you the AK. Yeah.
But can I give people a bit of advice? If you're going to create a crypto, create a crypto. Don't try to tie it to X, Y, Z, B, A, B, C, and all of that other stuff. Create a crypto. Just put a crypto out. You ain't got to do all. You got nothing to prove to nobody.
Yeah, we're in a new era, people, and the new era is trustless technology,
yeah.
through cryptography, through math. Math is the universal language that God created, and if we can do it that way. That's the beautiful thing about
Exactly. I
cryptocurrency.
find the more that they try to do, the more you put yourself at risk of various things. You keep adding this, you want to do this, you want to do this feature, you want to do that feature. The more you do that, the more risk you put more on yourself.
There you go. There you go. So we're going to do the last topic for tonight, which is one near and dear to you. This was interesting to see that the governor of Georgia just appointed Bakkt CEO. I don't know what happened to my screen there, but Bakkt CEO to Senate, U.S. Senate. This is a crazy story, and kind of give us a background, because there was some connection to you and your project that you're running, Guap Coin. Tell us how this relates to what you're doing.
Well, we definitely were. The crypto space is very small when you put it to you like that, and you have different team members that may work with different projects or be asked to work with different projects, because there aren't many of us around resources in crypto. So best believe if you know a little something crypto and you do this, then you're going to come across opportunities with various companies, et cetera, to work, and even in the government. I just got back from Congress, been about 2 months now, and we were down there pushing for regulatory certainty, et cetera. And I got to meet with some of the local politicians here. And when I did meet with the local politicians here, it's when I actually came into the realization that they're fully aware of blockchain and cryptocurrency. And some of them probably know more than I do. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So they're very far ahead in the game. They all have their agenda. Because at the end of the day, they look at this like this is money, and these are people who have money. So people who have money will recognize money.
Yes.
And they know what to do with money, and they know that what they want to do with money. So they're not ignorant to blockchain by any far. This lady, I forget her name. She's one of the rich. She's very wealthy. Her and her husband. Mm. So they're very, very, very wealthy.
So my question, when I read this, right, I was like, I thought it was interesting to see her kind of jump ship from Bakkt, when Bakkt was supposed to be this promising entity, created by the ICE.
Well, if you look at her background, she's had a steady trajectory of movement. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
People like that have an agenda, but they're not just getting something to get in something.
So the move to CEO of Bakkt was a strategic move. She wasn't looking to stay there.
I don't think so.
I got you.
She has a trajectory, so I
got you.
She's going to keep on going up on her trajectory.
So do you think is this going now? It was interesting that Trump actually did not want her to get in office in this seat. But what are your thoughts? You think it was because of her pro Bitcoin stance, or and do you think
right?
Yeah.
Trump is a 3 of diamonds. He has a bit of paranoia. You know what I mean? So, maybe this is somebody that could potentially usurp him in some way. Who knows? But I don't think it's necessarily the crypto aspect of it, because I think that Trump is probably very intrigued by crypto.
Well, he came out and said it. It didn't shock me. It really didn't. I don't know if you saw that tweet where he said that he thought Bitcoin was basically trash, and it was, blah blah blah. You think that was just a smoke screen, or do you think those were his honest
people
opinion?
Don't understand right now. Trump just jumps the gun and says stuff.
He sure does. Oh my God, I've never seen anybody
moves without thought. So he speaks, and then later on thinks. That's how.
Oh man! So it was funny. You're right, because it really was about Libra, and then he just shot Bitcoin while he was out there tweeting.
Yeah, exactly. So
But
Trump,
you know, I will have to say, Bitcoin is not a representation of anything that would be of benefit for a person like Trump as a business owner. He likes cheap money. He likes unsound money. He likes, you know what I'm saying? He likes that inflationary aspect of the current monetary system we have, so that he could take advantage of that system. You know, buying real assets with
Trump,
imaginary
Trump
paper.
but Trump is also attracted to secrecy.
Mm.
So he's a three of diamonds. He has an ace of spades and Mercury. He's attracted to secrecy. Very intrigued by what the mere fact that something is secret. I want to know. I want to find out. I want to know what this does. You know what I mean? So I want to be, I want to learn about it, be the authority on it, or whatever the case may be. But that's a three of diamonds. They don't ignore anything like that. There's no way.
Mm.
Better
So,
believe.
so my man 10 pounds sterling made a comment about he said, you gotta say, bro, when America has rolling blackouts and the Bitcoin network becomes unstable for transactions and fiat is worthless, weight will matter. I disagree, and the reason why I disagree, you run outside now today with your ounce of gold, and I want you to walk up to a person, have your gun ready. Maybe not, because this is what I'm trying to prove. They're not going to know what that ounce of gold is worth.
Right. They're not going to know what it's worth.
The common person is never going to know the true value of that troy ounce of gold.
Exactly. And then what if it's a risk? They get it, and then they got to take it to somebody who ain't going to know what it is. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So you have that. Exactly.
The fungibility of it is awful.
Yes.
You know? So,
yes.
And then they run the risk of going to somebody who's going to devalue it.
That's right. It's absolutely going to be. So in the real world, in a scenario where we have, let's say blackout, yes, Bitcoin not worth a damn thing.
Let me tell you something. Black people have been selling gold on the streets for a long time, and we all know how that always turns out. You ain't getting the value of what you paid for something on the streets. You know what I mean? You're going to get a portion of the value. And depending on where
it's always at a discount. Absolutely. It's always in a discount.
It'll be even worse when you go somewhere else.
10 pounds sterling. We're Americans. I don't know, man. I think this is across the globe, to be honest with you. Tavania has traveled many countries. She will have to give her input on that. Is this just a United States thing, ignorance here in the United States about what the true value of gold is?
No. It is definitely not just an American thing. Not at all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, again, you go some places in the world, it's not valuable to them like that. They have things that are more valuable to them.
Now, you may have countries like anomalies out there, like India. India's because gold is a part of their kind of religious.
But then
alignment.
You also look at them; they're one of the most impoverished countries in the world.
Yeah.
In terms of numbers.
So exactly. So they wouldn't be able to even conceive of buying a troy ounce of gold from you or exchanging it for something. It's just not that narrative that many precious metals individuals.
It's always been an elite thing. Gold has always been an elite thing.
That's true. I didn't think of it like that. You're right.
Tell me when gold has not been an elite thing.
That's very true.
Been an elite thing.
Very true. Very true. Yeah. So, ironically enough, pound sterling, 10 pounds sterling. You know what's going to be used in a scenario like that? Fiat paper currency, dollar bills. People have a direct correlation on the value, whether we know that it's been devalued 99% since this XYZ, but in a time of distress, money is king, and people will know what a $10 bill is. They'll be able to equate what to exchange for that $10 bill. A $100 bill, they know exactly how much you can buy with a $100 bill. So money initially
the problem comes though when you got to take on the business side and when you have to take that money and buy your goods from people who know what it's worth. You know what I mean? So on the streets, yeah, that's fine. But the merchants are the one that have to take that money and buy the goods that they need to sell on the people to people in the streets. And if they have to buy their goods wholesale or from distributors, etc., that's where they're going to have a problem, you know, turning in money that's worthless.
Okay.
Now, what happens in that situation? People fall back to situations like bartering. Bartering is a big thing, and people's vices become valuable. So you're talking about things like liquor, like you're in jail, cigarettes, liquor, all of those things like that. Those become the commodities in value.
Yes,
if
very
you go
true.
back hundreds of years ago, sugar at one point was a commodity that was valuable.
Very good point. Very
Rum
good point.
was a commodity that was valuable because these are people's vices, and they need these things to be able to cope with bad times. So those become the things that are very valuable. But bartering becomes a way, and trading and exchanging, and people get together and pool together in communities to, you know, whether they're farming or whatever the case may be, to overcome situations like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. So central banks are accumulating because, again, it's a wealth type of commodity, as Tavania just said. Your everyday person, you're not going to be able to go around and think you're going to just get the amount of goods and services you need for the current and proper price of that ounce of troy, ounce of gold, or if you got a gram or whatever. You got to just use common sense on that. Also, guns. You're gonna need guns. You need ammunition. You need munitions. You're gonna have that. Weapons are gonna be very valuable as well. So, you know, not saying you shouldn't have any silver or gold. Absolutely, you know, have some, but it's not going to be your saving grace if stuff hits the fan. So, so I want to, before we wrap up, we're on the 2 hour marker. I got a question or a reading request from a man, Aircoins Lee. I want to do that one. His date is January 2nd, 1984.
I know his card off the bat. He's a Queen of Spades, which is a very powerful card. He said, what, 1984?
84, yep. January 2nd, 1984.
Now, I'm going to tell you this. When you have these higher cards, like the Queen of Spades, King of Spades, etc., more is expected of you. So life can be seem a little bit difficult at times because more is expected of you. However, if you work your card and you play your card, you can have more success than the average person can. So, needless to say, the Queen of Spades, one of the karmas that's associated with the Queen of Spades is real estate. So Queen of Spades is a master at real estate, a master at acquiring properties, etc. So a Queen of Spades should always own real estate, should always own property, because that's a big plus for the Queen of Spades. So this year you were displacing the Six of Diamonds. So you were learning about the power of your word, honesty, and balancing your funds, your paying your taxes, or building a legacy for yourself, like buying insurance, etc. That's what the Six of Spades, the Six of Diamonds is about. So a lot of times when we displace the Six of Diamonds, things can seem a little bit tougher. You get very excited about some ideas that you have for making money, but the Six of Diamonds can lose its inertia. So they get really excited. The type of people they are is they get excited about ideas, but as you start to progress, it starts to, time wears them down. They start to kind of and that's how they lose some of their success, because then they just finally give up because of the inertia. So Six of Diamonds has to be very competitive, very athletic. So this is a year where you should have been, to achieve some of your goals. It was almost like you were training, you were Rocky, training for a fight. So if you had a goal, if you had a financial goal, you also got to work out. You also got to, train, walk, whatever you can to keep your inertia going to be able to accomplish your goals. And right now you got a Jack of Diamonds. That tells me you got some great ideas for making money, but you have it in Neptune. So that means that you also got to work on your spiritual side, because a lot of the cards that are jumping out at me this year that I see are all spiritual cards. So it's like, no matter how great your ideas are, no matter how much work you put into it, if you're not working on building your spiritual self, you're not going to get the support to make it happen.
Well, there you have it. Hope that helps. Aircoins League, let us know how accurate she's been, man. Everyone else in the chat room earlier when we kicked it off. If you guys missed it, definitely check out the beginning part of this stream. It was amazing. Man, I appreciate you coming on tonight. Had a great session, and we'll definitely have to have her back on.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Guys, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Oh, and Tavania, tell them how they can reach you again.
Well, if you're looking for Cardology, you're looking for my alter ego, my Jack of Spades, which is Aquarius Maximus. That's my Cardology astrology alter ego. And you never know what you're going to get on any given day, so forgive me. Sometimes I get a spirit that comes out that really want to curse everybody out. Sometimes I get somebody that wants to predict everything that's coming up. 2020 predictions are coming up, so you really want to follow me because I got a lot of 2020 predictions to share.
Nice.
You can follow me there, crypto stuff, Crypto Diva, but mainly Aquarius Maximus if you want to get this kind of stuff. And yes, I do have a YouTube channel that I'm launching for 2020 where I'm going to do more of the financial aspects of Cardology. One of my cards is really about money. And so, yes, I try to use Cardology when it comes to money and astrology when it comes to money to help people get ahead and help people to really collect what's out there, because in times of turmoil, there's a lot of wealth to be gotten. Don't let it fool you that things are seem bad, because when it's bad, it's actually when it's best.
Wow. Aircoins Lee says, I have been looking into real estate lately. That's crazy. She's on point. Yeah, there you have it. Appreciate her coming on. You guys make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we out of here. That's episode 17 in the books. Off the chain. We out. Holla.
Oh.
Stacking my coin, stacking my coin, stacking my coin, stacking my coin. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Stacking my coin, stacking my coin.